Let's start the podcast. Hello everyone and welcome to Sorta My Podcast. My name is Vincent Herman, Vin the Human, and sitting to my left,
James Odle, Alpha Spectre.
right across from him,
Dr. T. Neal.
Travis Herman.
You like that, huh?
Yeah. Dr. T. Neal is filling in for Bobb-a Fett, Bob Collins today, who is once again not with us.
Wait, what happened to him?
For unknown reasons this time.
We have no idea. He just mysteriously disappeared. I'm sure he'll be on Facebook posting about grilling later. All right, guys. So we've got kind of a streamlined show for you here today. First, we're going to talk about something we had slated for the last episode, and that is the subject of Superman and Wonder Woman. Oh, God, I'm all flubs right now. Specifically, their relationship in the DC New 52, which recently kind of got retconned by Superman Reborn. Now, after Flashpoint, DC New 52 started, and with that, Superman and Lois were never a thing, and never became a thing. Instead, Superman and Wonder Woman, which people have been waiting forever for. But with them merging the New 52 with the original pre-Flashpoint universe, they have completely gotten rid of this relationship, which most people are actually happy about. They don't get why it was ever a thing, but I'm upset about it. I think it squanders potential for future stories. There could be a Lois versus Wonder Woman-esque type thing in the future, a jealousy angle.
Okay. I want to say this now. A Lois versus Wonder Woman thing. There'd be no more Lois after that.
Okay, well, here's the...
And that's why Injustice happened, Vinny.
But
The only way for Superman to ever even consider another woman you'd have to get rid of Lois Lane out of the picture.
yeah, and
somehow.
of course, like Lois is 100% the love of his life, and in these recent stories more than ever, that shines through. It's just heartwarming stuff.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that Lois had to be his one and only the whole time.
They worked out a story to where
there were early years in Superman's career before he got together with Lois. Why couldn't he have been dating Wonder Woman in that time?
And especially now with Rebirth, there's two Supermans, two Clark Kents.
No, not anymore.
Well, there were.
Yeah,
one died.
Yeah.
I could definitely see Superman and Wonder Woman getting together, though, because of their stature. They're both on top of their game. They're very powerful.
It's almost literally a power couple.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, and you would know this if you taken my suggestion and actually read any fucking Superman.
No.
At all, Odle.
I disagree.
There is no dead Superman now. Turns out this mystery Clark Kent was Mitsapitalik the whole time. Through the events of the Superman Reborn storyline, the universes pretty much got merged together. The energies of Superman and Lois got merged together, which affected the entirety of the universe because it rewrote their story, which rewrote a lot of stories. So now there's always just been the one true Superman.
Okay. Yeah. Now, Mixapitalik. When did you learn how to pronounce his name, Vinny?
Oh, that was forever ago. During maybe the animated series.
See,
I have to say.
You gotta hear him say it probably on there, friends.
See, I just recently learned how to say it thanks to Supergirl.
That is a show I would definitely like to watch. I heard something about Smallville coming back into something. No, they weren't referencing any Smallville.
You heard wrong.
Unfortunately,
I need to use the internet more.
They have tons of cameo people. I can't remember her name right now, but the girl who played Supergirl on Smallville was recently on there as a villain. Actually, it was season 1 that she was on there.
Well, and then they had the original Wonder Woman on there.
Yeah, and they had...
Awesome. I gotta watch
God, why can't I remember anyone's names right now? He was Superman and Lois and Clark.
Is it Dean Cain?
Dean Cain, yeah. He plays her adoptive Earth father.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
On the show. Yeah, they've got everyone.
Recycling all kinds of referencing.
that's as good a place as any to go into phone booth news. That brings us to our first phone booth news topic, actually. Now, for those of you who don't know, phone booth news is where we enter into a world of news really quickly because we've got more important things to do. Somewhat like Superman enters a phone booth and then
he doesn't hang out and make a call,
right?
You know?
No,
he gets out.
He's not Deadpool. He doesn't stay in there.
This isn't your Deadpool's phone booth news.
Right.
Anyways, in DC news, Supergirl has actually recast Laura Benetti. They've recast her as Laura Zor-El, who is Supergirl's mother, with Erica Durance, who played Lois Lane in Smallville.
Nice.
This came about because of scheduling conflicts. I think it's awesome. Erica Durance is actually the voice I use in my head when I read Lois Lane comic books. So it's pretty cool. Moving on, Krypton and Black Lightning will be showing their pilots at San Diego Comic-Con this year, and the pirates are getting ready. Patty Jenkins has confirmed that she will direct Wonder Woman 2, and if Wonder Woman 1 is any indication, then she's going to knock it out of the park.
Well, as much as she fought to get what she wanted in this film.
Right? She knew what needed to be in this film, which is a pivotal Wonder Woman story, No Man's Land moment. Yeah, I trust her.
Yeah.
Moving across the pond to Marvel news, the Inhumans teaser trailer came out, and it looks really cool.
Yeah, it was really good.
Have you seen it? Yeah.
We watched it together the other day.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Black Bolt looks pretty cool. I love that little part where he gets hit in the face. But he's supposed to be invulnerable. Like, he's supposed to be super strong.
He's not so much invulnerable. Like, he can get hit. He can take a hit.
But not enough to spin him around and cause him to lose control of his voice. No. Not from a cop with a baton.
Oh, that's right. He ends up. That's the one who ends up making just a little and blows him away.
Ramsey Bolton is the bad guy in this. I don't know the actor's real name, but he was Ramsey Bolton on Game of Thrones. And,
I can't.
Oh my God, they've got Lockjaw in this. Medusa. Yeah. People are actually shitting on Medusa's hair. Pick up a fucking book. For real. Okay. It's so silly in the fucking books, but we accept it. So how do you think it's going to translate?
Nitpick thing.
Yeah, it's a nitpick thing, but I'm okay with it because I didn't expect it to look great. Right. I expected it to look stupid. It looks really, really cool. Moving on from that, James Gunn has officially confirmed there is no Howard the Duck movie. So we can finally put this to fucking bed.
I never saw that coming anyways. I don't see him being
It's been a rumor since he showed up in the first Guardians.
Because they would have to use Seth Green, who did the voice for both movies, and
that's not.
I don't see how they would end up spending all that time making a Howard the Duck movie that would fit into the rest of what they're doing with the Infinity Award.
The Seth Green thing, not necessarily that big of a deal. No. I'm sure he doesn't have a whole lot going on, but
seems unnecessary.
But if you think about it, Howard the Duck's more of a cameo character.
Yeah,
anyway,
that's the best way he's worked out.
Just leave him in the cameo.
It was a stupid idea.
We may see him pop back
fans
up.
had.
Yeah.
And it's thankfully been put to bed. But they'll bring it right back up. Just like Venom, who has recently been announced as not being a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
They're going to keep going back and forth.
It's starting.
No. This is basically the I can't remember. The chick from Sony said something to the effects of him being a part of the universe, which threw Kevin Feige off because he had no idea. And then they finally fixed the statement stating that Marvel characters, yes, all share the same universe, but the Marvel Cinematic Universe has its own thing. Spider-Man fits into that, and that's why he's there. And that's it. That's more or less what they said. So Venom, is going to be a standalone thing. They've said never say never to a Tom Holland Spider-Man crossover with this Venom.
Look at the age that Peter is, Tom Holland's Peter is. He's 15. Which means, he and Eddie Brock went to school together.
Yeah.
Like, I think Eddie would be
I don't think they're gonna. Honestly, if anything, they might do an Agent Venom, but it still makes very little sense because
they announced Tom Hardy is going to be Eddie Brock.
Yeah.
Agent Venom was Flash Thompson.
It wouldn't be the first time they
Tom Hardy would crush Tom Holland.
It wouldn't be the first time they mixed and matched shit. So like,
I don't think we're going to get a good guy Venom movie though.
In other news, Ron Howard is going on to direct the Han Solo film after Lord and Miller, the minds behind the Jump Street movies and Lego Movie. They were fired, so he is taking over. Apparently, there were creative differences.
Wasn't this the statement that said they hate the term creative differences?
Yeah.
But that's exactly
more or less. They kind of let the actors go off and do their own thing. They had the script. There was a story, and Kathleen Kennedy wanted, and the studio wanted, and blah blah. And they were going outside of the script. They were doing their thing. The thing that pretty much got them hired for this was the work they did on all these other movies. And they didn't like it, so they got fired. And now they're bringing Ron Howard in. And I think it's kind of just like a placeholder thing. It's just like, you be a name attached to the movie. You can direct, but...
we don't want you to do anything.
You do what we say.
We've got a script. We've got everything pretty much lined up.
We know what we're doing.
You just say action.
Ron Howard, he's great. He's made a lot of good
movies. He's made a lot of diverse movies, too, which makes me think that he can carry this one. Yeah. That is saying that they actually are letting him do anything. Obscurely enough, moving on from that, FLCL Seasons 2 and 3 had a trailer recently, and of all the things... Like, I almost would have been certain would never come back. FLCL was right there. Like, the first, I don't get it. I'm sure there's some sort of point to it, but I don't get it. It's so abstract and weird. I don't know. I enjoyed it, but I have no idea why.
It's Netflix.
Yeah.
They're bringing a lot of cool stuff back.
And speaking of cool things that have come back, Jurassic World 2 is finally has a title, and the tagline, "Life finds a way." And as we know, Ian Malcolm is in this movie. It looks really cool. I saw a picture on Twitter recently. It's I can't remember the actress's name, but Chris Pratt is washed up on a beach with her.
Okay, I was gonna say, did they do away with Chris Pratt?
Yeah, no, he's in there. Yeah,
seems like they had a really good thing going.
Yeah. Speaking of good things that keep on going, I'm on fire with these today. The SNES Classic Console is coming out. This is
pre-ordering this as soon as it's
is a play right off the NES one that came out last year. And they're doing bulk stock because they ran out.
What was the statement? They are overproducing these or something?
Yeah, they're not overproducing it, but they're definitely gonna make projections.
But with the games that are on it.
Well, you've got Mario RPG, which is a rare title to get your hands on.
Love that game.
I think you can get the digital download, handheld, maybe on the consoles. I don't know, but
you can get it on the Wii for $5.
You've got Link to the Past, which is my favorite Zelda game.
Yes.
In fact, the last Zelda game I played and beat. Mega Man 10. It's just so many classics, and a never before released game, Star Fox 2.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, for the Star Fox fans, that one should be pretty interesting. I
get some Slippy, some Star Fox, and
I dug it on the Super Nintendo. Never really cared for it on the N64, but I'll check out Star Fox 2. Sure, why not? Sadly, this also brings us to bittersweet news, which first, Adam West, recently departed, is going to be in at least 5 more Family Guy episodes. He recorded enough material for these 5 episodes, and then that will be the end of Mayor Adam West. And this is probably the saddest. Yeah, this is more bitter, but it has kind of a sweet end. Joan Lee, wife of Stanley, recently passed away in their home. What was it? Friday?
Thursday.
Yeah. The upside to this is normally when you hear about these deaths, it comes attached with some sort of bad news, usually drug related. But luckily this time she passed away at the age of 93 in her home, quiet and amongst family. So now, that's where it's sweet. It's
here's what really worries me is at the age losing your wife that you've been with that long.
That's what killed Johnny Cash.
Yeah. This could be
heartbreaking enough for Stan Lee.
Yeah, because statistics, you can actually die of a broken heart.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but like I've seen it in hamsters. Even like you have two for so long.
It's like a will to live type thing.
Yeah, well,
animals.
Like anatomically, your heart has these things called heartstrings. Where if you suffer a trauma enough, like losing a spouse of that many years, it can cause enough trauma to those to where they break, your heart starts to lose its shape, and you die of a broken heart.
I'm going to have to look into the science of this.
Sickness.
If Odle is wrong here, feel free to throw that down in the comments. I'm not gonna argue whether he's right or wrong. But all right, guys, we emerged from the phone booth in our new and more informed form, and ready to tackle much bigger news, such as Batman has recent news that they're going to actually do a detective story. They're talking about doing like some hardcore world's greatest detective type stories. Honestly, this is something we haven't really gotten from any of the movies.
I remember in the movies, I was gonna say there's been definite periods in the comic books where they've came back to where they have to focus on him being a detective.
There's so many, so. I mean, even recently, but and even the animated series had some stuff. The Dark Knight had that whole bullet thing, as stupid as that was.
Yeah.
But still, like in the movies, we really have never gotten
get back to
true blue detective. Yeah, and I think this is a really cool idea. There's so much material that they could work off of with this. I mean, just Hush is a good storyline to go.
I've only heard of the character, and I really want to learn more about him.
Yeah,
isn't he like some sort of Bruce Wayne kind of?
Yeah, Elliot Ness. He grew up with Bruce Wayne. There's a very long story attached to this, but like long story short, he ends up trying to steal Bruce Wayne's identity.
Yeah, it's like a 14-part arc.
Yeah, it was a while. It was a pretty big one. Even better than that, The Long Halloween.
Oh,
that is a great detective story. Calendar Man as your central villain.
If you think about it, in almost any of these Batman stories that they've made into like absolute format, like the two that you just named off, and there are several others that do tie into. These portray the detective skills more than just some of the one-off stories and everything else.
Yeah, I would love to see a detective or a Long Halloween Batman movie. That'd be great, and it's got so many other villains in it too. Just him trying to track this situation. Solomon Grundy's in there.
Yeah,
so, and we've never seen him on screen before. No. So speaking of really cool things, kind of Batman related. Spider-Man PS4 had some gameplay footage that came out at E3, and it just looks spectacular. And the reason this is kind of Batman related is that the combat, at least,
the stealth
and everything, it's very Arkham.
Yeah.
Very, very Arkham-esque.
And slow-mo punches at times.
The way you can just string your combos together.
Someone told me that they felt it was more reminiscent of the earlier Spider-Man game, Spider-Man 2, for GameCube and PlayStation 2, but I'm not seeing it because, I played that and I played all the Arkham games, and Arkham always felt like it was its own thing. Like, it had its own style.
Like, definitely, I'm sure when you finish a main part of the game, you're gonna have that time to swing around New York,
right?
And you're gonna get that old Spider-Man game feel.
Yeah, I think it's an open world. Sandbox type with a main story and stuff. I believe they've said that, and Spider-Man 2 was like that as well. And maybe it's just that I haven't played Spider-Man 2 in probably over a decade. That I'm not
like a lot of storylines from the older ones. They were pretty good.
The slow mo during hand-to-hand combat, some of the takedown slow mo. This is really just exactly on par with what we get in Arkham.
Just visually,
yes,
amazing.
And you've got
the movie.
Oh my god, the spider combos, just where, the ways that you can web people up. There's that one guy that he's over top of him on the beam, and then he shoots a web down to pull him up, and then just kind of spins him around in the web. Just like Spider, it's so cool.
I know in the older games you used to get to customize what moves he would have, even acrobatics to punches to his string abilities, and I wonder if they're gonna have any of that. If that's
honestly, like if they really are going the Arkham route here, they might limit it to like a gadgets menu like they had in Arkham.
Yeah.
But really, I think a lot of it's just going to be in the way that you execute the combos. With Spider-Man, that would be the most free-flowing thing. Kind of like a fighting game.
His moves are already going to be there on him. You know?
Yeah. You just see, you gotta memorize, like, oh, if this is how you want to do this thing, then you need to know how to do it.
It seemed like every angle Spider-Man gets into in that trailer, though, for the game, that it's like, oh my god, I can't believe he can do this and this.
Yeah,
and this.
yeah.
Like,
well,
that's them
showing. That's them showing off the gameplay, and of course, there are going to be plenty of people. Like, I'm going to try to get into it that way, but I'm more going to be like a straightforward. I'm going to use the powers as much as I can, but I'm also going to mostly just
look
do
as
the
cool
stealth.
as the trailer.
Yeah, my gameplay will be so boring comparatively. And then we got a couple villains in this. I don't know if Fisk is going to be a villain because he seems to be in jail.
As he usually
usually is.
But being in jail really never stops Fisk from taking care of business.
Mr. Negative, which is really cool. Really cool. Doesn't get enough due.
It could. Thinking about it, you know what Mr. Negative could lead into for this game? Dealing with anti-venom.
Ooh. Possibly, yeah. I mean, we've seen Venom in games already. Web of Shadows was just...
I mean, you think Spider-Man, you think Venom.
Right. So I would rather see like Venom be kind of a footnote in this game to lead to like maybe Carnage or Anti-Venom or something like that. What do you guys want from this game? Like, what villains would you like to see in it?
Obviously, you gotta have some Sandman in there. Falcon, it's Vulture, isn't it?
Vulture.
Yeah. Although Falcon is a Marvel character. He could be.
Yeah. There's a lot of birds.
I'd like to see the original Sinister Six.
I want to see a legion of birds.
Maybe
like all these different birds.
Craven the Hunter.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. We've seen it. I would like to see a decent Scorpion done, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But how often in anything do we see Craven anymore?
He was in the last game. Well, no, the second to last Spider-Man game, which is Shattered Dimensions. He might have been in Web of Shadows. I don't remember.
All I care is if we get a Bruce Campbell voiceover.
Right.
Morbius.
It's possible.
Morbius would be a really good one. The Living Vampire. Yeah. Oh, who else? There's somebody. Mysterio.
Yeah,
would be a good one.
I'd love to see Mysterio.
Really great.
I've seen plenty of Electro in the games.
Hey,
I'm okay.
This could be Bruce Campbell's dude. He could finally get his Electro part or Mysterio part.
Yeah, that would be great. Maybe they'll fill in some
I
of the
want
scenes.
that.
Yeah. Anyways, it looks like a great game. It looks like a pretty game, and I can't wait to play it. I'm a much bigger Star Wars fan, and I'm not pre-ordering Battlefront, but I'm definitely pre-ordering this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that brings us to our last topic of the night. Now, this was going to be Spider-Man Homecoming, but you can see sort of my update, which will probably come out the day after this on Tuesday. And then sort of my podcast episode 4 will be coming out on Wednesday on the YouTube channel. We'll talk more about that later. But instead of doing Spider-Man Homecoming on this podcast, we're going to go ahead and do a little retrospect into our lives with comics. A little like why comics? What brought us to the table, you know? So let's start with that. What brought us in? Odle, do you want to take us out on this one?
I mean, as a kid, and like I can remember all of this so perfectly. Like I had my twin bed set up. I found these old Christmas lights, and they weren't just any Christmas lights. They were like 3 little candles bunched together with a clip, and it was like a string of 8 of them. I put them on the head of my bed so that I could have light, because I found a tub of my dad's old comics, like old Batman, old Spider-Man. I'm talking like 60s, 70s era stuff.
Nice.
And I would go and I would get like 2 and 3 of those and read them a night. And they'd always yell up at me that I needed to go to bed. But I'd still be up there like reading, turning the pages.
Gotta find out what happens next.
Yeah. And then...
Mom, suckers, hit Spider-Man, shut the
Sorta! But like, and then after that, you know, Dad started picking me up some comics here and there because I can't remember the name of the store. Richard's News, maybe? It used to be here in town. It got torn down like forever ago.
Yeah.
It's where the new elementary school is.
Remember, I got to this town in the 8th grade.
You wouldn't have known it.
Yeah.
But he'd go in there, he'd get a baseball weekly, and he'd bring me out a comic. And like he was getting me like some Spider-Man stuff. He brought me a comic. It was Heroes. It was the 90s. Okay, keep this in mind. So he brought me an issue of Heroes for Hire #5. Ooh, that was my first taste of like Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Black Knight, White Tiger, like all these other characters. And that was one of my first things. Like, this is my comic.
Yeah.
And like, this is awesome. I read that thing over and over and over. And I found it like cleaning up a while back. Like, since then, like, I've completed that entire run, like, collecting the 90s Heroes for Hire run, more out of, you know, not because it's worth anything, but because it's worth something to me.
Yeah.
You know? That's what got me, like, really into comics at a young age. You know, and then coming up, high school, we start seeing all these superhero movies. They're cool now. Right. Like, it's okay to be like, yeah, man, Spider-Man, Iron Man, like, these are the shit.
Who knew we'd get our due?
Right?
Trav, what about you? Like, where I know, like, knowing you from here or there, you know, like, I think I saw you around Mom's house every now and again.
Yeah, we had, like, the same parents or something.
Yeah. But, yeah, where did it all start for you?
I'd have to say, to be honest, I don't think I paid enough attention to any of the characters for a long time growing up. And I'd say one of my first exposures was the first Punisher movie.
Yeah.
Tom Jane.
Yeah.
And then eventually we get the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. And I really started connecting with like a lot of Spider-Man characters. I really started looking into it. You know, started picking up some comic books after that. But
yeah,
really,
I remember you being big into Spider-Man as soon as
Spider-Man used to be one of my favorites.
After we saw those movies.
Like, I used to draw a lot of manga and stuff. Like, I practiced drawing Dragon Ball Z when I was, like, 10 years old. Yeah. Eventually, like, I started catching on to more of the artwork in the comic books, and that's really drawn me in. I feel like one of my missions would to be to illustrate a Spider-Man comic book.
Yeah.
It would be amazing.
Hey, that's a hell of a goal. You've done a few Spider-Man blank covers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, people have asked me to do
the great the big Chubasky. Yeah.
Chewbacca #1, and he's I read through the comic book a little bit, and he's really lazy, and all these people really need him to help him. He's like, all right, I'll help you guys, basically. And I was like, you know what? Big Lebowski.
And,
so I drew that one up.
You did that one with the Aquaman issue for Bob.
Yeah, Bobb-a Fett came up to me. He said, I just want you to do like something crazy where he's getting all kinds of like water monsters. So what I went ahead and gave him was Cthulhu coming out of the water, Gyarados from Pokemon.
Godzilla was one of my favorites.
Yeah, Godzilla's in there. Floats him and jets him from The Little Mermaid. He's conjuring all these water type characters.
Yeah.
But really, like a lot of the artwork's what really got me to start reading the stories. And I started flipping through them, you know, I started enjoying more and more of them, finding more characters and learning more about them. And I really enjoyed reading, so it kind of just ended up coming together.
You're always welcome to check some of mine out too. You know, I got one or two.
And I've been like so into all the movies that have came out since then now, and that's really just kept me hooked. For
me, it all started with the TV shows in the 90s, like the Spider-Man and the X-Men and Batman, Superman, all that. But we used to live around the store from a KB Toys in Medina. They had some comic books there. I would take off from the house maybe once a week, maybe a little more often, and I'd go down there, and I don't know why, but the only one I wanted to read was Superman. I had no
macho
intentions of reading Spider-Man, and I knew Batman. Like, I flipped through Batman, I was like, this seems really complicated. I'm done. So I would read Superman.
So you're saying Superman is the simple man comic?
Superman. Well, no,
I mean, it was heavy in mature themes.
So, I mean, we're talking 90s Superman.
Yeah, but I mean, we're like responsibility and
Yeah.
accountability and stuff like that were a big thing in there. Shortly after I started like just going over there and reading, like dropping like 5 cents on some candy so I could be a customer and then taking a book off to the back or something. I wanted to keep going back, but I was like, I don't know what to read. So I started reading Spider-Man. At that time too, up until they brought back Superman, and then eventually they just stopped selling comics. So I did not get to read for a very long time. Like I picked up books here and I picked up books there, and just like randomly, like people would have comics and I would maybe pick.
We
them
had
up and
so
read
many other interests at the same time. There was,
Yeah,
like,
right.
Pokemon was
Yeah,
out while
like
we were kids.
I mean, it was like I had other stuff to do as a kid. It would keep my attention
But
occupied.
comics always made their way back in. You know?
And so I did not really come back to comic books until I want to say it was definitely after high school. I think like 2007, maybe 2008, that I started reading comics again. And the first thing I picked up was Spider-Man, and the only reason I didn't pick up Superman was because I think this was around the time of the new Krypton stuff. It was all very intertwined. There was so much going on that I did not want to jump in the middle.
Try to catch up.
Yeah, right.
In order to get to where it was.
That's something that's always kept me from even picking up a lot of stories because I know there's so much backstory.
And that's why you should definitely like. You would be fine, especially with DC right now. Marvel not so much, but DC like the last issue of Superman I just read was just it was not like they mentioned the last little arc, but mostly it's just a story about Superman trying to figure out how to get John to listen to him and understand that like he can't rush into things and stuff because John is Superboy and whatnot. And he's remembering back to when Pa Kent made him like take care of the farm for a day without any powers. Like, and the one time he used his powers when he thought Pa Kent wasn't looking, he fucked everything up. So this is a really quaint story, and it's just this one story. Like the next issue is not gonna like kill you because you didn't read that one. So DC is a great place for jumping in, finding a place to jump in.
I always got shit on for liking Superman because so many people are like, well, he's got every power. No,
people don't understand
because they haven't read any
They see the superpowers and that
feels like I've seen him die, come back as energy, go to space. Like there's a lot more.
These stories are the best that I've read. Like the best Superman stories I've read in a very long time. But anyways, that's what it was for me. I popped back in and around that time, and I started reading Spider-Man, and that got me into Daredevil, and I started reading a bunch of books I hadn't read before. I always liked The Punisher, but like I never read him. I was reading Punisher at that time. And then with a family, it just got too expensive, and I stopped until about, I think I stopped in like 2009, and I picked it back up in 2013. Or 14, whenever the Secret Origins Harley Quinn issue came out, and then right after that I bought Harley Quinn #0, and then it spiraled out of control since then.
Let's not talk about spiraling out of control.
I'm reining it back in though. Today, this week, I only spent 25 out of my 30 because I've canceled a few books. So I let a few books end, and I haven't added anything, so I'm doing better.
I mean, I spent a little over 40, but that was because my Grail popped up in the shop. Mm-hmm. Like I just said, Iron Fist has always been like one of my favorite characters. Yeah. Walk into the shop, Marvel Premiere 15, the first appearance of Iron Fist is right there, front and center on their wall.
125.
And I tell her, take it off the wall, put it in my pool. I'm making payments on that.
Oh yeah.
I love this shop.
So, what stories have stuck with you? Have any affected your life, or like just something you took and like you tried to live by, or anything like that?
There's actually a Spider-Man story. It's not in any of the comics. It was a web comic, but it was done by like a full team and everything. And the story is called Leah. And if you've never seen it, if you don't start to tear up, you're a fucking monster.
Is this the one with the little girl who has cancer?
Like, I think it's cancer or something. Like, she was homeless, and like Spider-Man was like, yeah, like.
Go ahead and just for our listeners who don't know,
like
I don't know.
Leah is this homeless girl, and she idolizes Spider-Man, loves him. Yeah, so she's dreaming about Spider-Man, like going on a web sling ride with him and everything. And then it pans out, and she's in this hospital bed about to die. Spider-Man, I can't remember what he says to her. I'm getting chills talking about it and thinking about it. Like, it's such a sad fucking story.
Strong content.
And it's maybe 40 panels. But it's such a beautiful story. Like in the Dexter.
Oh yeah. The tragedy of Dexter.
I don't know what it is, but I love like these small little tragic stories.
And the story of Dexter is that Dexter was was it an alien cat or was it a house cat?
He was a house cat.
Why the fuck is he blue?
I think it's just supposed to be like a black cat. He just comes.
It's for the illustration purposes, maybe.
I don't know. He looks pretty fucking blue in the video.
Yeah. Maybe it's the ring.
Maybe. But anyways, it's a house cat whose owner was murdered, and this enraged this cat, and the ring sought him out, and then he finds his owner's murderers and kills them.
Jesus.
And yeah.
Well, and the thing is, having the ring gives him like kind of these. I wouldn't necessarily call it like the ability to speak, but he can like make communicate.
Yeah.
And he's like he says the words, I'm a good kitty, I like something along those lines,
There's this part where, like in Red Lantern form, it's like curling up to the dead body of its owner. It's like, I avenged you, good kitty.
Yeah.
It's really fucking sad.
It is. But I don't know. I love those kind of stories. For some,
I'm more of like I ended up just the only ones I end up buying are the ones like I'm kind of a collector.
Hyper fantasy type stuff.
Yeah, like I collect all the Amalgam comics. I have 13 of them so far, and that means I only have 11 left to go. But one of my favorite stories is Spider-Boy 2099 or something like that. I think is what it's called. Or no, Spider-Boy Team Up.
Yeah,
is what it is. And there's a lot of time travel in it. It's great. And I'll collect any of the Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, all those comic books. But like, I don't think there's anything I can really take from them. Like the things I can take from any of the characters is them being
Deadly
good.
Class.
Oh yeah, you love Deadly Class.
I'm not huge on horror. In case that's what you're thinking.
No. High School for Assassins.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's that's way too simplistic of an explanation. But it's a good premise to get you started. That's how they got me on it. But Deadly Class is really cool. For me, there are a lot of different stories that have kind of stuck with me. But
what's stuck with you the most?
Really, a lot of honestly, this new Superman stuff, like just father-son type stuff.
Yeah.
This last issue that I was telling you about, he's just trying to make John understand. He's not getting his point across, and John's misunderstanding what he means, and he's not understanding that he's being too pushy. Like Superman's struggling to communicate with his son on these powers and stuff. And then there's this resolution at the end where Superman just admits that he was doing things the wrong way. It was really enlightening in a way to communicate with my son. John is the same age as my son, actually, my oldest. So it was really cool for that alone.
That's actually you introduced me to the Punisher movie, and that's a story that stuck with me. I don't know if it's direct from the comics, but
that story's not direct, but
like something like that. Like that's something that
in fact, the Punisher's family gets killed. Like they're having a picnic in the park.
All right.
And they had nothing to do with these two families. Just these two mob families come to this park to fucking kill each other. And fucking Frank Castle and his family are just caught in the crossfire.
I'd say Daredevil season 2 got it closer than anything.
Kinda, yeah.
Some of the sadder stories is what really makes us think about, like,
and
really
that's another thing. That's the reason I like the Punisher so much. Is if you put yourself into these stories, whereas like my entire family being killed and me becoming a vigilante is like a hyper reality. But like if I put myself in there, I was like, yeah, well, if I did have like this kind of budget and all this training, I'd fucking be the Punisher for sure, because I know I could see myself coming down to this point.
That's what I think they try to make their characters relatable. Everybody's got family too, so
so the Punisher is another one that really sticks with me.
That's another good one. Not necessarily in comics, but in Daredevil season 2, one of the Punishers telling a story. That's sad as shit.
We need to write it in the comments, because we get to fucking like this and that. Before you know it, we're talking about like movie.
We're talking about Mars Attacks.
Before you know it, we're talking about Grumpier Old Man. So we need to be careful where we go with this. It's like 4-hour podcast. So, we've talked about some of the stuff that we like and some of the stuff that has affected us, but what do you not like? What really like gets you about comics? Maybe it's just a one-off thing. Like maybe it's only happened a handful of times. Or it's just like the misconceptions. What is it you don't like about comics?
I know a phenomenon that I don't really like it because they can kill any character and they're gonna bring them back every time. Every time. Sometimes they stick to their guns. What if we just leave Wolverine dead for about 50 years?
They have left Wolverine dead for like 2 years now.
2 years, yeah.
Technically, what if they brought Old Man Logan from a different universe? But he's still not Wolverine.
I was gonna say,
yeah.
He's in the same universe where Wolverine is dead.
Like when I heard about Deadpool. Like, Deadpool's dead in the universe now, but
right. Oh, that was.
But they're gonna bring him back.
Stupid. And that whole issue was just disappointing.
Can't even die anyway.
It was supposed to have this like really nice, quaint ending, like him and his whole little like surrogate family type thing, his daughter, and they all die on this boat. But the whole fucking thing is kind of like stupid and rushed up to that point, and then it just kind of ends, and then it doesn't matter because it just came right back.
It's not a big beef that I have though, It's like it's just something I think of sometimes. Like anytime I hear about it, I'm like, okay, well they'll be back next year.
It makes it hard to get excited for a story where the character dies.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of the main reasons I was so adamant about reading Death of Wolverine was because it'd been 2 years and he was still dead.
Yeah,
and I was like, well, okay, maybe I should check this out.
You start getting worried about your old, old Logan there.
And to this point, I don't think they intend to bring him back just yet.
Nah, we'll see.
Maybe
they'll hear this podcast and like, we're going to wait 50 years.
Right now, Laura Kinney, X-23, is the acting Wolverine.
Right.
And they've got Old Man Logan, but again, that's from alternate universe. So, yeah,
they always find a way
the Logan we know and love, he is dead. He's gone. And he goes out in a hell of a way, too. That's a great story. What about you, Odle? What do you hate?
There's a few things that get me sometimes. I'm going to take this by publisher for a second. Marvel, stop doing $10 fucking issues.
Right. Oh my God.
Spider-Man 25, Deadpool 10, Deadpool 15. Like, no one fucking cares that we're not getting any extra content and paying more for, like, issue 25. No, it's issue 25.
Yeah.
It's bad enough we're paying $4 and $5 for some of these.
Yeah, it bothered me enough when DC made Batman and Superman 25 and Flash 25 $3.99 instead of the normal $2.99.
Yeah.
That's an acceptable number because that's the price of a Marvel book is $3.99,
not 10.
Yeah. And this was their super anniversary issues, and it was only $1 more. No, not $10 fucking dollars. I get you there.
In fact, that's one thing that actually kind of keeps me away from buying comic books is because with my own kind of budgets, I can't afford them at the time.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why I like I've been talking to you like I've been telling you DC. You can jump in it like you can pick a book and I'll tell you when to jump in.
It's an investment hole.
And some of them are $2.99 and they go twice a month. So you're looking at like $6 a month.
Okay, really?
Then some books are once a month and they're $3.99. And then if you really wanted to get involved with Marvel, most of their books are only $3.99, and I'm pretty sure they just revived Ash versus Army of Darkness. I was telling you this. I'm pretty sure that's $2.99. That's $3 a month.
It's not a big
Yeah.
title, so
Brand-
definitely that ain't too bad.
So that's
Well-
the minute you want me to pull the trigger, I'll add it to my pull, and you just give me the $3
guess-
every month.
Like when I go to the mall and I see like all the hardcover omnibus, I'm like, okay, I want to
Yeah,
get this
it's-
because it has all of them, and then I look at it and be like $30 to $40. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
It can be a
I'm not
little
gonna lie.
overwhelming sometimes, especially when you hear such bad shit from Marvel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they have not been.
But
stellar.
release time, like things getting pushed back.
Yeah.
For example, Dark Knight 3.
Dark Knight 3 was so bad for it.
Jupiter's Legacy.
Don't
I
know
think is one.
anything about it.
It's a Mark Millar story.
I don't care.
8 months. 8 months since the last issue. It was supposed to
Really?
be written and done before it started being released.
And it hasn't been officially canceled?
Nope.
Oh,
8
shit.
months since the last issue.
That's insane. You
like
can't do that.
that Skyborn that I read the first couple issues of, trying to get you guys to
I
start.
saw
following
issue
it.
4 on the show. I read the first 2 issues and I liked it.
It's really cool.
I couldn't keep
But
going.
then it was months until issue 3. Now issue 4 just came out.
I just saw
There's
issue
one
4.
more issue.
That
and I
would
was
take
like,
me off, yeah.
holy shit, that's still going.
Yeah. I get irked when
Yeah.
titles go on trade breaks. for
Yeah,
a
you'll
few
never
months.
have that with Amazing Spider-Man and Batman and Superman. You'll
Yeah.
never have that with the main books. They're always good with that, but the minute you try to branch out, you are taking a risk. You don't know what you're getting. Me, honestly, there are 2 things that bother me the most. One is artwork.
So
we talked
JR.
about, yeah. We talked about that crapshoot. You try to branch out, and then you end up with some. And artwork is important to me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
It's the whole
That's
medium.
what got me into it, basically.
Yeah, there are 2 things that you need for a comic book: visuals and story.
Dialogue, yeah.
Dialogue. So the dialogue. And they've been getting sloppier and sloppier with fucking misspellings lately.
They
That's
have.
starting to bother me.
And
Misspellings
You think
or
they would
adding
be on
extra
that.
words. Yeah, right?
or the chat bubbles being on the wrong people.
Oh, that happened in Captain Marvel. It's like
This is the first time I'm hearing it.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah,
that's not
That was
I-
in one of the issues of Civil War.
I
wasn't
post,
it?
one of the because she walks into the room with the Ulysses, and it's something like the Captain Marvel bubbles are on Ulysses, and Ulysses is on hers.
It makes
It's
it
something
really
like,
confusing for a second.
"Hey, it's Captain Marvel, and it's coming from him."
I wonder how many comics I've read that have been fucked up, and I just didn't understand it because of that.
Yeah, right.
I never noticed.
I posted that on Instagram. It was hilarious. But yeah, no. But when books change artists, that's the worst thing. I've noticed this in DC. It's starting to bother me a little bit. The books will like the Superman book. I think has changed artists a few times.
There's
and I notice this
There's
every time.
usually
Yeah.
2 people to blame: or inker, and then the color.
Yeah.
Someone will do the lines, and then
Yeah.
someone will do the color.
Well,
but
I mean,
lines
then you
is
have
what
books
gets me
like
that
All Star
base.
Batman. They've made the statement they're going to be changing teams as it goes. Fortunately, they upgraded big time by going from JRJR to Jock.
And the worst thing, fucking the
yeah.
Forge. Dark Days the Forge had 4 different artists.
Yep.
One of which was JR.
And you can really tell how prominent
I'm gonna have to pay attention to
JRJR is.
this.
John
next
Romita
time.
Jr. is just a
Okay, John Romita Sr.
Great.
is one of those legendary artists in
So damn.
Marvel and everything.
Yeah.
JR Sr., great. JR, his early work is
He
really
has his
good.
moments, yes.
And he tried. You could tell he tried hard on All-Star Batman, and it still wasn't very good.
Yeah.
But if you notice, most of the time his characters are looking to the right.
All right, he's
Yep.
just pumping them out real
So
quick,
weird.
probably.
And this book alone has 4 different artists, 2 of which were great, and one of which is Jim Lee.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I follow him
yeah,
on
yeah,
Instagram.
yeah, great
Jim
stuff
Lee's
there.
great.
And I can't remember the other one that I really liked. And then you got 2 that are just so different from Jim Lee and the other guy. One of which is JR, the other one, again, I can't remember. And it's off-putting because it's one story. It's not 4 stories. It's one, like, just in the middle of the fucking issue, it changes.
Reminds me of Tarantino. 4 rooms.
Right. Yeah. What the fuck, Superman?
Yeah.
Like, why are you sideways?
I pulled up a picture of the issue of Justice League that JR did, like, during the New 52.
Yeah, when they were doing
JR month.
Yeah,
For whatever fucking reason.
I liked the months thing,
Like,
but
the Neil Adams one was really cool. Like, I like
yeah,
that.
but this one was so fucking weird.
Like,
everyone else is going, like, you know, horizontal, and Superman is too, but he's facing the comic cover.
Yeah, right?
I think if he would have put it normal, it would have been alright.
It's always right.
yeah.
Right?
Fucking Titans cover he just brought up. Anyways, the other thing that really bothers me is, yes, we are in an age that comic books are more acceptable. Being a nerd is cool. Some people will latch onto that. They think they watched the movies, so they're super nerds. They think they bought a poster, so they're super nerds. Now,
So nerdy.
They have the underwear.
but then these are the same people that when a guy spends all of his breaks and lunch hours, or lunch half hours, reading comics, he still gets fucking looks on break or lunch every single time. 3 times in a fucking day, at least one person looks at me.
Right.
One person looks at me and is like, what the fuck is he doing?
I kind of get that sometimes.
I'm reading, motherfucker.
Sometimes I'm a little uncomfortable, like, telling people, like, if I know I'm in a group of people who aren't even going to understand what I'm going to say, I know they're going to be like, oh, okay. Well, I don't know what the fuck.
And here's the other thing is, like, at the same time, people are more. I've noticed people are more tolerant when you talk about the actual comic books, and people will even sometimes ask questions. They'll be like,
more often than not.
if they know if they know you read comics at all, they'll ask you like questions about the latest fucking movie, and they'll be like, does this really happen in the books? And then you'll be like, no, blah blah blah, this and this.
I'm
and this.
starting to get that at work.
Yeah,
Like,
it's happened a lot.
from,
You can tell that they have, you know,
Wonder Woman
comic
and
book
Spider-Man.
intention.
But it's still the weirdest fucking thing to people when someone just whips out a fucking comic book, and it's like, oh, well, if I fucking brought out the Bible, nobody would give a shit, you know? And that's still a fucking story.
I think that's with books in general these
Yeah.
days. Like when I used to read The Hitchhiker's Guide at work, people would just be like, "Oh, there's Mr. Fitz reading his book."
right.
I'm like, no,
You're reading the book.
we like to read.
Yeah, like, and I mean, I've read. I mean, some people like sometimes, yeah, people are like, "Fucking dude, reading a book." What the fuck? Like words on a piece of paper? What? Can't you just look at it on Twitter? Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I've read a few books at work too, but it's so much less of a reaction when I whip out an actual book rather than, and it's fucking words with pictures. What is so weird about this? It's the perfect medium between fucking TV and movies and books.
Right.
It's like it's the middle ground.
It's a good cultural, you know, experience.
Right? Maybe visual comics is more of a medium ground, but still, yeah, I hate that. It's like it's cool to be a nerd, yet it's still weird to read comics.
We can't win.
Right. Well, guys, I think this is as good a place as any to start wrapping this up. If you want to check out anything new from us, we've got 2 episodes of Commoner's Commentary. Kung Pao Enter the Fist, which I did with Dr. T. Neal here. Childhood classic of ours. And Dragon Ball Evolution, which I did with Odle. And
Don't
do it. Don't do it. There's also a new episode of Serious Shit called the Bob Point Paradox from a few weeks ago. Yeah.
That's the first time I'm hearing that.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
It's a really good title. Anyways, also we've got episode 3 of SMP is up on YouTube. If you aren't familiar with the Sorta My Comics page and see the video there, or wonder what I was talking about earlier, we are doing a YouTube resurgence. Sorta My brand really started on YouTube for about 3 or more years, 3 and some change. I have been on hiatus from YouTube really. And so I'm finally bringing everything back. I'm going to catch the YouTube up with the podcast page, bringing everything live that we've done over to there. And we're going to start putting out original stuff. again, Edible Obscurities is
Yeah.
definitely on the slate.
Definitely check that out
For
if you
sure.
guys haven't. This is pretty good.
One of the things I think will catch up most quickly is Alpha's Unboxing, which is also going to be over there.
Yeah, I started watching
So,
some of this.
The double-sized episode of Alpha's Unboxing is up on Facebook right now, our Facebook page, Sort of My Comics, and you can check that out. Which 2 boxes did you do in that?
It was the this month is animation.
There was definitely stuff in boxes, though, for sure.
There was,
And they got unboxed.
kind of the same shit, different month.
Yeah, right.
And then it was the Marvel Collector's Core Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah,
Which,
that was
come to find out, the shirt that I got in that has been available in Hot Topic for 3 months.
Right.
Yeah, but for the price of the shirt, you got an entire box of crap.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's the great thing about those boxes.
That's the terrible thing about Hot Topic.
Yes.
Also, we did, and I'm not proud of this video, but they did a little. Did you watch the Tricon video? The
No, not yet.
Oh, it's so bad. Anyways, I went ahead and took our Tricon 2016 footage that we did live on Facebook last year, and I made a Sort of My vlog out of it. That's up on YouTube also. Remember, that is Sort of My brand on YouTube. You can also like us on Facebook at Sort of My brand and Sort of My Comics, where we post nerd news and any of these podcasts that we do. Sort of My podcast can be found on Instagram and Twitter. You're listening to this somewhere, and it's got to be maybe SoundCloud, iTunes. Either way, follow, like us, and most importantly on any of these things, comment. Commenting lets us know what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, lets us know what you think, what you want, and we may not care, but it's always good to hear from you.
Feedback helps.
Feedback does help. We have made some advancements with feedback. Our drinking is a good one. Someone commented that the more we drink, especially myself, the worse we get during the podcast. And so now we've made limits for ourselves, legitimate limits. So yeah, just comment any thoughts that you had, send them down below, and we do read them. If it's worth responding to, if it's anything that really warrants a response, we typically respond.
Yeah.
Guys, my name is Vin the Human, Vincent Herman.
Alpha Spectre, James Odle.
Dr. T. Neal, Travis Neal Herman.
And 1 minute before we leave, Odle, what kind of music do you listen to?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Well, hard rock, classic rock. Travis, what kind of music do you listen to?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
I typically listen to that badass outro music